fisherman. I'm not a software guy. I'm a fisherman, but it's like using a depth sounder or a GPS. That's about how difficult this stuff is. It's not that hard. And
you've got to play around with it a lot.
What's that?
You've got to play around with it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're to the restreamer. And I just got to make sure it starts connecting to all the pages. Connecting. Let me just double check. Look at Facebook. And I posted up. Oh, look at that. We are live on Facebook already. Oh, we even have somebody commenting. It's Corey all the way from Oregon. Oh, man, they got everything on there. And we are back. Here I am, Fly Navarro with the No BS World Tour, where we talk about everything that you guys want to talk about, except for any of that BS that's pissing people off. We don't do it here. Now, if we want to talk about whose fish is bigger, who caught more fish, that's the kind of BS we can have an argument about on here. So I have no problem. Today, we are joined with my man Anthony from I don't have it written down here in front of me. Anthony, it's something Fisheries.
Yeah, Chasin Tail Fisheries.
Chasin Tail Fisheries. I have it. I posted up a time that we were going to go live, and I put your logo up there so everybody can see. Oh, shoot. I just realized we are now competing with Mike's weather page. So, listen, Mike's a bad dude. Do you know Mike?
I don't.
Mike's weather page puts up some great content. They do really good with 5 storms out there. Everybody's watching that. Let me say hello to everybody. We got Corey from Oregon. Good to see you. Michael from Costa Rica. Good to see you. Danny Iberg, all the way from New York. We got Matt Mosley, Jimmy O'Neill. Good to see you, Jimmy. And you need to lower your volume because I can hear my voice. No, it's okay. Hey, Fly, I can catch more salmon and steelhead than you can. How about that? Hey, Corey, you think you can. And you've been doing it all your life. I've never done it. But if I try, give me a week. I'll kick your ass. And I'll even sit next to you so you can watch me kick your ass. I'm that kind of fisherman. I'm the guy that always is busting your chops. So, what are we doing the dew? Is that a dew? Mountain Dew?
Yeah, Mountain Dew.
All right. I've already had my fix of caffeine this morning. So before we go any further, I got Anthony in the house. Anthony, let's tell everybody a little bit about you and your charter operation and where you're from. So let's start off. Where is your charter operation located out of?
We're based out of Boston, Massachusetts.
Is it Boston or Boston?
It's Boston.
Okay, I just want to check. Okay.
No, it's Boston. I wasn't born up here.
So you're based out of Boston?
Based out of Boston, Quincy, which is a suburb outside of the city. I was fishing out of Venice, Louisiana for a long time, running sport fishing boats, and my mom got sick, and we did good in the tournament circuit, and I decided I wanted to come back up north and catch dinosaurs. So I bought a boat and moved up north and wanted to target giant bluefin tuna for a living. And it's been 4 years now, and I'm enjoying every day of it.
So you said your boat's in Quincy.
Yes.
And what kind of boat is it?
We have a 28 contender.
You have a 28 contender, single engine, twin engine?
Yep. Twin engine. Yep.
Wait a second. Hold on. Hey, Fly, have a good day running out on the Tar Heel right now out of Mag Bay, out of Cabo San Lucas.
Very nice.
Sweet. Good luck, James. Catch them up. Give me a good fishing report. So we are a little bit earlier, but there's a good chance we might get more people out of Europe and stuff as we go along. So just to give you a heads up. So you're in Quincy, you have a contender. And so tell us a little bit about your fishery, what you primarily are targeting.
Early season from April 1st to June, we run ground fish trips, which is haddock, pollock, flounder. And then the striped bass will start migrating up here to the Northeast, and we'll start transitioning over to stripers around June. And that'll go June, July, August-ish. And then we've been so busy with giant bluefin tuna trips, I had to cut my bass season short this year, and I've been tuna fishing every day since July 15th. And
so what's
been amazing.
So and I heard really early on that those schools of bluefin were moving up the coast when they first started showing up around New Jersey, and then all the way around Long Island. Now they've gotten up to you guys. So, excuse me. Tell us a little bit about how your season has started with these bluefin, and when did you start seeing them? And have they all been giants, or have you been dealing with some of the schooly mid-size and mid to large size?
Right. So again, they were in New Jersey, like you said, coming up, crashing pogies in like 30 feet of water, we heard this year. I've got friends down south in New Jersey, and it was amazing season for them. Our rec guys, they gave all of our recreational guys are allowed like one giant a year, like incidental kind of thing. They're allowed their one trophy fish, and that quota all got eaten up from New Jersey and New York this year. But we were bass fishing in June, and we'd just be out there in front of the harbor out by Graves Light, and all of a sudden you'd see just a hole in the water open up, and just giant bluefin 100-inch fish just come crashing through there. And it got to the point where we're like, we got to bring 50s out or 130s out with us bass fishing, because guys are getting spooled bump trolling live mackerel around. Like, I don't want this to happen.
That's awesome.
It was wild, right? Like 2 miles outside the harbor, there are giant bluefin, and it was amazing. I had a buddy of mine that landed one on a Talica 50. It was 110 inches early season. And it got to the point where like, we're going to bring spreader bars out with us, just 2 spreader bars. And if we see them come up, just switch over real fast, throw spreader bar on and drag it around. And sure enough, if my buddy Quentin didn't do that, and he hooked up and landed probably one of the earlier fish of the season right out front of the harbor.
Nice.
So it went from a bass trip to a bluefin trip, which that's a dream come true for any charter client.
No joke. And you said it was a 28-foot contender, correct?
Yes.
There you go, Aaron. Aaron from Alaska is asking. So when you say you're right outside the harbor, 100 yards? 200 yards?
A mile. So
okay.
We have 3 different buoys that we catch bait at. I believe there's around 30-something islands here in Boston Harbor. And there's 2 lighthouses that are right outside of Boston. You have Boston Light and Graves Light. And the North Channel is the one that runs parallel with Graves Lighthouse. And we're right out there with that. So the NC buoy, then you have the BG buoy, and then the B buoy. And we've been primarily targeting that NC buoy area, which is right off of Graves Light. I don't know, a couple 100 yards, 1,000 yards.
Okay.
So it's 70 to 90 feet of water right there, but these fish are coming right in real close. And we had whales come in early this year too. It was wild.
Really?
Whales breaching and feeding right out front of the harbor.
What are they feeding on? Sand eels or?
This far, no, they could be. I think they were feeding on a lot of mackerel and pogies early season. The huge pogie schools, you could walk across these things.
Really?
Yeah, there are that many of them.
Wow.
It's pretty nuts.
So right now, what are you primarily using for bait while you're giant tuna fishing?
Right now, August was really good for us. This is one of the best Augusts I've seen in years because a lot of fish came through at one time and they stayed around. And we were using herring, Atlantic herring, and mackerel primarily up on Stellwagen Bank. And with the new moon we just had in September, we had this weird transition. A lot of fishing are in Cape Cod Bay now. So we're using live bluefish, pogies to target these things, and just
Sweet. Now, when they're inside Cape Cod Bay, that's pretty awesome. That's some really. It's number one. It's cool to catch the fish in there, and it's just beautiful in there.
It's gorgeous. You're fishing sometimes a half a mile or a mile off the beach. You can see people in their bathing suits swimming, right?
Who's in a bathing suit off of Boston? It's too cold to be in a bathing suit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Man, I'm from Florida. That's way too cold.
Everyone's taking the polar bear plunge.
Oh my gosh!
You won't catch me in the water here. There's too many.
That's too cold. So, with your live bait, let's start off from the beginning. You say you start catching your live bait off the buoys. How are you catching your live bait? What are you seeing? Tell everybody a little bit about that. You leave the harbor and you go out to catch live bait.
Yeah, so we'll leave the harbor. We'll start at one of the buoys or just rock piles. Some sort of structure. You can even fish the lobster buoys because all the lobster traps have bait in them and they kind of hang around the little buoy like a fad.
Okay.
And we just use simple sabiki rigs. Any size will do. Just something nice and shiny.
Okay.
Early season, when they come in real thick, you can vertical, jig them, the mackerel, and the sabiki up and down. But I've had a lot of luck with just bump trolling sabiki rigs around. I think
really?
It's off the mackerel for some reason, and they just pile onto the sabiki rig and, just work your way around the buoys. Find the schools of bait, mark them, find the schools of bait.
When you're loading up on the live bait, what is your minimum before you leave? Do you try to black out the well? Do you try to get 3 baits? Do you want to try to get a couple dozen?
I want to get as many as I can. I'd like to black it out every day. Some days bait's harder to get than others. I found though that those real big striped bass, if you want to target the big striped bass, they like big baits, big corn cob size mackerel. That's what they're going to eat. They'll go after that before they'll go after a tinker mac all day long. Oh yeah.
Really? Okay.
It's fish in the 40 plus range, 40 to 50. We'll get a couple 50s a year, usually about a half a dozen of them, 50 or greater, and but most of them around that 48 to 40-inch range. I'd say outside the harbor, early season.
That's way cool. And how's the striped bass fishing been lately the last few years?
It's been good. Every year's been a little different. It's always starts off really good for us, and then commercial season opens up and they allow us 2 days a week in a lot of boats to go out and commercial fish these, and they're allowed to catch 15 striped bass over a certain size. And the fishery just starts to go downhill from there because all these big breeders and all these big fish just get scooped up.
Okay. Sent
off the market.
Have somebody's got a question. Have you ever used sand eels for stripers?
I have not. You can use fly patterns to target them. I've never actually been able to catch a sand eel. I get dipping at them.
Can't you buy them?
No, you can buy live eels, just like big jumbo, 12-inch, 18-inch live eels. A lot of guys will use them under kites off the jetties and just free line them out there up north and down south, more where there's a sandy bottom. We got a really rocky coast up here.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different. Once you go south of Cape Cod Bay, it's a completely different fishery. They have species of fish that they can target on a regular basis that we could never do up here. And it's not that far. It's 26 miles. It's wild.
And it just totally changes.
It just totally changes. Like we don't get the black sea bass, the scup, the fluke, the tautog. They can target those species down there. Even in what's it called? Not Cape Cod Bay. I'm drawing a blank.
Buzzards Bay.
Buzzards Bay, right there. They target all that right there, but they don't leave Buzzards Bay. I haven't figured it out.
I just want for everybody that's watching. I knew Buzzards Bay, and I'm from Florida. Everybody, that's right. This guy right here. This guy. Hey, Billy, what's going on? Good to see you. Anyway, so you go out, you catch the live bait, and then you go off. So you said you're using Talicas for your stripers?
I use Talica 10s for my striped bass.
Okay.
Holds plenty of line. It's just a great reel. They've never let me down. I wish they still made the Torsa, but they quit making those. I think that was probably one of the best reels Shimano put out for a long time.
I'm a big fan of Shimano. I'm a Shimano fan.
Absolutely. And yeah.
So, and then what's between switching up from bass going to your bluefin tuna? What is your biggest tackle change if you're still sticking with live bait?
We take off all the bass rods. We'll keep a couple sabiki rods on the boat. And I've had so many clients this year. I offer my clients 2 different types of ways to catch them. And that'd be like the 130s, traditional and the gunnel rail. I call it like the wicked tuna style, right? Just 130 in the side of the boat and you just reel down and crank down. I don't find it fun anymore. It's just
winching.
Yeah, you're just winching a giant fish in. I don't even call it sport fish. I don't think I can even call it sport fishing. It's just, the captain drives the boat around the fish and just reel. I mean, where's the fish going to go with 40 pounds of drag anyway? Nowhere. It's just going to
doesn't go anywhere fast
and reel back in. So this year we've put together some awesome stand-up combos with some friends of ours we've worked with Alutechnos and James Sterling over at Carbon Precision Fishing here in Plymouth. And he's been building us our stand-up rods, and Alutechnos we've put to the test. We got the new 30 wide 2-speed Gorillas. They put out about 50 pounds of drag, or even more, I guess, if you hammered them down. And we've been using 30 wides to catch fish. It's been
really
unbelievable. And it's, black magic harness. You man up, you stand up, and you strap in and let the fish tow you in the boat around. That's fun.
That is fun.
Yeah, and if you've got even a seasoned veteran, someone that knows how to stand up fish, can bring a fish in a shorter period of time with stand-up gear than you can with just the 130 and the gunnel rail.
Absolutely. You can apply way more pressure.
Tons. And even, not amateurs, but people that aren't as familiar with stand-up gear, you get them harnessed in, you get a group of 3 or 4 guys on the boat, and they all take turns. They're all on the rod for 30, 40 minutes each, having a blast, getting yelled at by their friends and screamed at,
That's the best part.
Real, that's what it's all about. Yeah, their knees start quivering and shaking. It's great.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So, are you harvesting all these fish or are you releasing them?
So we harvest 3 days a week, and then the remainder of the time we're tagging and releasing giant bluefin tuna. So Molly, who runs the Large Pelagic Research Center, has a tagging program called Tag a Tiny.
Okay.
And we use her tags, and I just got one of her new tagging sticks that she just came out with. And, we'll just punch tags in these things and just let them go. And
that's cool.
Awesome video and pictures for the clients. Not everyone's able to take fish home, and it's, if they fly in, I have people that fly in from all over the world, and it's like they can only take back I mean, a fish averages 300 to 500, I'd say, up here in the summertime, and then they just get fat, and then they're around 5 to 700 pounds. But where does all that meat go? You got to find a buyer for it. And COVID this year's just really messed up the entire industry as far as selling these things. There's no market. The restaurants aren't open.
Listen, it's not just tuna. It's the seafood market across the board.
Absolutely, in general.
Yeah, it's in general, because with restaurants closed, there's no consumers, and so on and so forth.
None of these restaurants want to bring in a highly perishable product that they have to sit on and hope to make their money back on it. Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah, that part I totally get.
Yep.
I totally understand that. So with that being said, are you guys releasing more fish than normal?
Oh yeah, okay. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a ton of I think I've sold, I don't know, like 7 fish this year, but we've released around another 40 fish with tags in them. So it's nice. It's nice to see. Hopefully we'll get a tag recapture one day. That'd be awesome.
That is cool, because I've had plenty of them recaptured on bluefin tuna and billfish, and it is pretty cool when you get a phone call and, hey, you know that fish that you tagged in St. Thomas? It ended up in Brazil. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's way cool. So for everybody that's joining us late, I have Anthony with Chasing Tail Fisheries out of Boston, Massachusetts, and somebody's asking, do you have a website, or what's the best way to get a hold of you?
We do have a website. It's chasintailfisheries.com. Yeah.
Trey, you got that, my brother?
Yeah.
You got that? Chasin with no G, chasintailfisheries.com. So, see, that's the greatest thing about doing these live. Everybody has the questions and everything's available. Josh Wilkinson from Arlington, Virginia just joined in.
Nice. He's right down the street from where I grew up.
Oh, there you go. We got Luis from Guatemala. Good to see you. So you are actually next week going not only bluefin tuna fishing, but you are planning to harvest the fish.
Yes, that is the goal.
You are going after what? Tell us what you're going after.
Oh boy. I guess the cat's out of the bag now, right?
Well, I can put it back in the bag. For everybody, forget about it. You didn't hear nothing from me. I didn't say a damn thing.
Oh, but no, we've got 2 awesome ladies coming to fish with us. They fished with me earlier in the year, and they've been trying to break the IGFA ladies world record for 2-pound test line, and then we got a wild hair up our ass to try to target a giant bluefin tuna this year for an IGFA world record on 50-pound class line. So we've got 2 builds in the works for them. I was just over there at the shop the other day with James, watching him build the rods. They're almost done, waiting for the reels to come in the mail. And we're going to go get them all spooled up and go out there and try to break the IGFA all tackle ladies world record for 50-pound class line.
Not all tackle, 50-pound.
50-pound, yep.
And what is the weight for 50-pound?
I believe it's 564 pounds right now. So
which is very doable.
Very, very doable. Up here it is.
And I actually remember that fish because I was right next door when they broke that record. Oh, yeah. I was watching them break that record.
They have a lot of work to do. It's not going to be an easy feat by any means, but we just got to go out there and give it a whirl. That's it.
That's all that matters.
That's it. You just got to go try.
You're not going to catch them sitting at the dock.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
So now I have a question for you. Have you ever tried kite fishing for your bluefins?
I have. I absolutely hate kite fishing. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. I mean, it serves a purpose. I get it. It's a great way to target sailfish down in Florida. I can't. I just don't enjoy sitting there playing with reels all day long, lowering a bait, dropping it. Just, I don't enjoy it.
Okay.
I don't.
I know we do it a lot when we're giant tuna fishing. As you know, they're very leader shy. They're
Yep.
very terminal tackle shy. And when you have a consistent wind, when you have something, a 15 knots of breeze, 10 knots of breeze, and that kite just paints itself up there, you literally can put your live mackerel on the surface and the hook is out of the water.
Absolutely.
So there's no terminal tackle in the water. So you are making a great presentation.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. It can be a pain in the butt. It can definitely be a pain in the butt.
We don't have, so like, again, this goes back to south of the Cape or the backside of the Cape, Chatham, the Regal Sword area, where you have school bluefin, from the, small fish up to, 100-inch fish. There's big fish mixed in, but there's huge feeds back there. So these fish are making the water, just boiling the water, and the feeds are incredible. Yes, I think flying a kite, if I was closer to that particular area, I'd fly a kite a lot more and drift the kite. But we don't have a lot of feeds on Stellwagen up to Jeffries. In the fall, you'll see them come up in the evenings and stuff, crashing through bait. So it might be worth putting a kite out in the fall when they're gorging themselves before their migration. But in the summertime, I haven't needed to. It's just been more work, I guess, than I needed to do to catch these things.
No, listen, I totally understand. I just know sometimes that's the only bites we're getting. You can clean all your leaders, you can do everything you possibly can, but until you get everything out of the water, we couldn't get a bite.
Oh,
yeah, we couldn't get a bite. Yeah. And you want to talk about a ferocious bite?
Oh, I'm sure it's insane.
An 800-pounder blowing up on a mackerel is unbelievable.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it's amazing. We've seen them crash through baits up here, but I'd love to see them hit a kite bait and just rip it out of the sky.
And that's the best thing. I mean, you see the explosion, it pops out, and there's a drop back, even though you don't need one, but you get a drop back. So it's like a 3-second delay before your drag starts screaming.
Oh yeah. I love it.
So, but no, it's phenomenal. And the only thing better than a bluefin tuna bite on a kite is a seal bite on a kite.
A seal bite?
When you see a seal chasing after a mackerel, it's phenomenal. Get it away from me.
I haven't seen that yet.
I have. Pretty wild. Pretty wild.
Right?
Oh my gosh. What was that? And then next thing you know, the bait goes flying out. And it's like, that was a seal.
Oh man.
That was
the population's gone insane up here.
So speaking of seals and where you're located at, how often are you seeing, or are you having encounters with some of these great whites that people are seeing up there?
I've seen 2 this year. Seals we see every day for the most part. Great whites don't really bother our fish up here. It's wild. Like down in the Bahamas, if you catch tuna, or some places in Florida, you got to get that fish in as quickly as possible before the sharks get it. Up here, there's a lot of great whites, but they don't seem to bother our tuna fish. Thank gosh.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Give it time.
I think it's because, the great whites, their food source primarily is coastal, right on the coast. So the seals hang out on the rocks. They don't venture far from shore. It's safety for them. And, we're fishing 20, 30 miles offshore. I've seen them out there. but again, it's, I don't think they go that far out, or if they do, they're migrating through or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Not sure.
I have a question from Trey again. Do you do any jigging trips for tuna?
I personally don't. Again, this is south of the Cape again. There is a great jig and pop bite, down on the Cape, backside. It's about a 80-mile run for me from where I am. You can throw stick baits at them, all sorts of stuff down there. It's just a completely different fishery south of the Cape.
Interesting.
Or on the backside of the Cape. Like I said, they have those amazing feeds back there where the water's just frothing with bluefin tuna, just tearing bait up. We don't get it up here. We sit on an anchor ball or we drift the Stellwagen Bank, and we wait for a bite kind of deal.
That's pretty cool. Now,
no,
finish your sentence.
I kind of similarize it to like sword fishing. You got to sit there and watch the rod tip just bounce. It's boredom followed by like mass pandemonium. It goes from like 0 to 1,000,000 really fast. Although we're watching balloons, not the rod tip.
Pop. Got one on there.
Exactly. Yeah. All
now,
of
are you the fish that are frothing up, are those smaller fish?
They usually are.
Okay.
They're in that 60, from 30 to 60-inch range, 70s. There are big fish mixed in with them, but I think those big fish are they're lazy. Bigger, lazier fish. They're not as fast as those little tiny ones are. And those little ones are all schooled up. So there could be 50 to 100 small fish all chasing bait. And the big ones are probably right underneath of them, just picking up the scraps. Just like the big striped bass, they're lazy. They cruise the beaches, looking for things to pick up along the way.
Hold on, I gotta give a big shout out to my man Richard Gunn with Lucas Oil. I see him joining in the show. I gotta show some love to my man, all the way from Southern California. Good to see you, Richard. So far this year, what is the most exciting thing you've seen?
Ooh.
And show me some excitement when you tell this story.
Yeah. I'm thinking, it's the humpback whale shows we have are unbelievable. We've got so many humpback whales here. When I bring clients out, they've never seen whales before. Tuna's almost like they're fun, but to watch these massive humpback whales jump out of the water and breach, in the explosion of water that comes out of, from underneath of them when they do it, and right next to the boat, we're talking like maybe 100 yards sometimes. They could even be closer, or they swim right underneath your boat. It's, to me, that's the coolest thing in the world, because these things are larger than life. If you've never seen one before, that they're friggin' huge. It's like National Geographic every day we go out there. I love it. And to see the excitement on the clients' faces, they're like, did I really just witness that? Like, yeah, it's wild. And,
yes, you did.
Yeah, the whales are doing it all around the boat, up and down the bank. It's beautiful. It really is so surreal.
That's pretty cool. So that's, so far for you this year, that's the best thing you've seen.
Yeah, the whale shows are just unbelievable. That and some really big giant bluefin tuna, we've seen.
Okay, hold on. Somebody's got a brand new, complete newbie, uninformed question. So I'm going to read it, and it's, hey, Fly, I got a complete newbie, uninformed question. I watched a bluefin video the other day where they shipped the fish that was caught, and you guys barbecued the head meat with that one being shipped. If someone was to go on a charter with a guy and caught one of those, are you able to keep them? And if so, do you get billed the same way they would if they sold it to Japan? So if somebody goes out fishing with you, Casey, that's a great question. If somebody goes fishing with you and they want to keep their bluefin,
yes,
can they keep the bluefin?
This is where it all gets. So it's a good question. It's a great question.
Okay, Casey, great job. That wasn't a newbie question. That's a great
question. All the permits we hold are federal permits. This is the most highly regulated species of fish in the world.
Amen.
Especially up here in the Northeast. With the federal permits we have, any fish, any giant bluefin that's smaller than 73 inches, and there's slots in there, you can keep it. You can take all of it home. If it's greater than 73 inches, it legally belongs to the boat just because of the way the permits work. We hold dealer permits, and the reason I hold dealer permits is for my clients. If the market's in the tank, I'm not going to go try to make an extra $1 or $5 a pound off a fish. If it's like $1,000, I'd rather give it to you guys. I'd rather give it to my clients. Now, they might not be able to take all the fish home with them, because you're talking, maybe 500 pounds of meat. It's a lot to fit in a suitcase.
Oh my God, the baggage overage would be unbelievable.
So what we've been doing is, we'll go get the styrofoam cooler boxes. They'll take home like a loin or two. And the remainder of it, we've been donating to all the first responders and firehouses here in the city of Boston.
Sweet.
What we've been doing. Yeah.
That's way cool. That's very, very good.
Nothing goes to waste, and we can only eat so much of it. We get sick and tired of it as well.
No, I get it.
But it goes to a good cause, and it doesn't go to waste is the way I see it. So,
No, that was a great question. It was a video last year while we were in Nova Scotia. One of the guys, they boxed a fish. They were shipping it to Japan. But when they cut the head off, we always try to get the head steaks out.
Yep. Yeah, the head, you can definitely, client can have the head, the tail, all that stuff. When they go to market, we can sell fish. If it's a diamond, and that's, probably 1 in 100 fish we catch are true diamonds, I would say, where it's just like the clarity of the meat, the core sample, the tail cut, the fat, the grease that's in it, all that. They're very few and far between. They all have a commercial value, but to find a true diamond, a fish that's going to bring a lot of money, they're few and far between. It's all how you fight them, swim them after you catch them. There's a whole lot involved with it.
Explain to everybody what you mean by swimming.
So we use around 25 pounds of drag. Sometimes you need more for big fish. And we'll catch the fish. We'll bring it up to the side of the boat. I personally don't like to harpoon my fish if I don't have to. The fish, sometimes they're erratic and crazy and you have to harpoon them. But we try not to. We've got a new product from Italy called a Practico. It's a giant boga grip for bluefin. Big giant bluefin tuna boga grip, and we can hook it on their bottom lip, and after we catch the fish, we'll swim it. So real slowly, you want that fish to swim with the boat, but very, very, very slowly. You built up all that lactic acid in that fish's body. It just ran a marathon pretty much. So it needs to sit down, drink some water, take a break, So you're just going to help it along. And just swim it. You want it to just get relaxed again. You want that fish to almost swim. You want it to swim away, but you want that thing to come back to life. Thrash, not thrash around, but you want it to be as healthy as possible. Then after we swim the fish for about an hour, sometimes we'll swim it for 2 hours. I'll swim it on the way home. We'll bring the fish up to the side of the boat. They've got a main artery right behind their pec fin. I'll stick a knife in there and you can bleed them out. You blow out their pec fin and they'll bleed out real slowly. They've got a lot of blood in them. and you want to get it all out if you can after the fish is relaxed and chilled completely out. Then we'll bring the fish back up to the side of the boat once it's done bleeding, bring them into the boat, and we'll ikijimi them. So they've got a soft spot in their top of their forehead, right above their eyes. And these fish, when they're dead, their central nervous system is still alive. Like any animal, if you've ever killed a shark before and brought it on the boat, the meat's still twitching when you get back and you fillet the thing. We'll spike it in the brain with either a screwdriver or a special tool. My cousin makes mine for me, my brain spikers. And then I take longliner line. It's about 1,000-pound longliner line, and we slide it all the way down its spinal column, and it kills its central nervous system. It allows the blood to continue to flow through the fish, and they don't really go into rigor mortis as quickly. And when you bring that fish to market to a reputable buyer, that fish now that was worth $4 a pound, if you didn't do all this, could now be worth, upwards to $10 to $12 a pound just by taking care of the thing properly. So there's a lot to it. We do that for all of our clients' fish as well, because we want everyone to have a quality product when they go home.
That's the biggest thing. You want to make sure the fish is in the best condition possible.
Absolutely. I take our fish box. A lot of guys will just throw the tunas in the ice holder in a fish box with just ice down, and then the meat sits on top of all the ice cubes and presses the flesh and all that stuff. I went and bought some 4-inch foam mat, and we keep the fish on the foam mat inside the ice box, and then we ice around it and inside its cavity, all that good stuff. So we like to take good care of the fish.
But listen, if you're putting that kind of time and effort into catching the fish, you want to make sure that the meat is very well taken care of.
Absolutely.
So what has been your biggest fish you've caught so far this year?
This year it dressed out. That was just the core, or what they call the bullet, was 874 pounds. So roughly 15 to 20% is the head, the guts, the tail. So we estimated the fish at around 1,050 pounds, and we caught it on stand-up.
Wow.
6.5 hours. We caught it with Craig, who has oceanic gear. It was insane. It was the biggest fish I've ever caught in my life on stand-up gear. I don't want to do it again. I don't want anything to do with it.
That's a big fish for stand-up.
It was. It really. That's when when the girls told me they wanted to do that with 50-pound class line. I was like, we caught it on 100. I'm like, you know what? We can do this. After doing that, I know that I can do it. Or I know the rods, the reels, and the tackle can do it, because man, that thing, it was wild. It was so big that, and thank gosh it was a flat, calm day. It was like glass out there. So the boat wasn't rocking. If the boat was rocking, I don't know how we would have done it. But just to get back down on that pump, to pump the rod down, my mate literally had to grab the back of the harness, push you down so you could sit down for that pump, so you could get back up and get a little bit of line on it. Because your legs were they're on fire. It was wild. It was fucking nuts. It was cool. It's a lot of fun. Stand up's the only way to go. And it beats just doing it in the rod holder. Everyone gets a turn.
I don't like rod holder. I don't mind fighting them out of the chair. I can apply maximum amount of drag in the chair.
Yep.
And when I'm teaching people, I like to teach them in the chair, because then they don't have to also deal with the rocking of the boat. But if you know what you're doing and you're comfortable on a boat, stand up is great.
Absolutely. Before we go out, we go through a little instructional demo I always bring a spare rod with me. It's just, I cleat it off to the stern cleat. I put them in a harness. We fit everybody, and I put them up to 35 pounds of drag on the reel. And if you're 180 pounds or lighter, you can literally lean back and not pull line off that reel. You'd be amazed at what 35 pounds of drag really is. And I want everyone to practice. I want them to pull that line out, and do the squat. I want to see their form and help mold them before they go out there and tackle these things, because it's one thing to do it off of a cleat, on the back of the boat. But when you're hooked into one of these things, it's the boat's rocking, you're shaking. It's a whole different animal. But at least they have a good foundation of what to do and how to do it before they get into it. It's very important.
Which is very, very important. I have a question from Ketten Gear out in Hawaii. He wants to know, has wicked tuna helped or hurt your industry, in your opinion?
Wicked tuna, and I know a lot of those guys. It's been good and bad. Good in the sense that it has helped promote the conservation behind the fish up here, and help do a lot of great things for bluefin tuna in the Northeast, because we have a great fishery, unlike a lot of other places in the world where it is declining. Our fishery is booming up here. Every year there's more and more fish, and that's through conservation, and Nat Geo really pushes the whole conservation thing. I think it's great. Wicked tuna in general, when they say that they're getting $35 a pound for fish at the dock, is such bullshit, because there's not a buyer out there that I know of that's going to give you $35 a pound. Last year, they were catching so many of them, they were turning people away. They didn't even want you to go catch these fish. They were getting $0.25 a pound for them. I mean, dog food, cat food costs more than bluefin tuna at some times of the year. And the permitting, anyone can go buy a permit. If you have $36, you can go buy a general category commercial bluefin tuna permit, and you can be the next wicked tuna guy. If you want to be. It's but you just have to follow all the Coast Guard regulations and safety gear that they require us to have on the vessels to be able to go do it. And if you want to do it, you can go do it. A lot of guys are doing the charter head boat. If you have a captain's license, it allows you to keep both large fish and small fish, which is greater than 73 inches or smaller than 73 inches. So your recreational-ish charter could then turn into a commercial trip in theory. And then the recreational permit, you can catch and release as many giants as you want. And then it's the slot limit under 73 inches that you're allowed to keep. And in the fall, there's plenty of shorts. We call them rats. But if you know where they're at, you can definitely get your underside, your smaller than 73-inch fish a day. There's plenty of them. A lot of guys that have the center consoles that can run real fast, those are the guys that are getting them. Just because these down easters only go about 10 or 12 knots, maybe 15 if you got a fast boat.
So you are one of those fast center console boats.
We are one of the fast center console boats, and it's great because I can be in Maine in an hour. I can be in the tip of Cape Cod in an hour from Boston. And the nice part about Boston, we're centrally located. We're right in the middle of Cape Cod and Gloucester, Massachusetts. I go outside the harbor, I pick a direction. Where are the fish at? And I can cruise at 35 knots. I can be anywhere I want to be quickly, efficiently, and not burn a ton of fuel in the process with a fast boat. and Yamaha engines. You know, it's versus these big down easters. It might take them 3 hours to go 30 miles at 12 knots. You know, we have to pick our weather window days because weather is definitely a factor with us in a center console. But, you know, if you don't mind getting a little wet or, you know, run out there and blast out there, we can go do it, you know, and we're just as successful as the rest of all those boats, you know?
That's the important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't catch it like we see on. I recently went on my first deep sea fishing adventure ever last month. We vacationed in Gulf Shores and took a boat out all day. We caught quite a bit of smaller red and white snapper and some triggerfish that we threw back, and the rest that we froze to bring back home and do a fish fry. It was a lot of fun, but we didn't catch any of the big fish like you see on shows and whatnot. It's not all about catching big fish.
No, it's not. It's about going out there and spending time with your friends, your family, and being on the boat. And that's what it's all about. I don't even enjoy reeling fish in anymore. I've caught so many of them. I enjoy is the having my own business and stuff. It's about taking people out there and sharing the experience with them versus, you know, oh, we lost, you know, some guys get all butthurt and upset. You know, some of these captains, they throw their rods down. It's like, we missed that fish. I'm like, I can get another bait, put it out there. We're going to get another one. Don't worry about
Exactly.
it. You can't get upset about it.
There's a difference between fishing and catching. Catching is actually reeling in a fish. Fishing is everything else that leads up to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the hanging out with friends. It's sharing information. It's telling stories and stuff like that.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
That's the biggest thing.
A lot of people lose track of that. You know, it's really, you think, you know, everyone will, you go spend a lot of money on a fishing charter. These guys are professionals, you know, most of them are anyway. And, you know, they're going to do everything they can to put you on fish. Every day is different. Every day is different. One day the fish are there. One day the fish aren't there. You know,
So, Anthony, do you have an email somebody is asking?
Yes, it's Chasin, Chasin, and then tail fisheries at gmail.com. There's a link on the website as well.
And Paul is your neighbor. He's from Connecticut. So,
well, very nice.
Paul, he's just down the road from you. Chasin Tail Fisheries. Look him up. Aaron Greenberg, how are you, sir? Thank you for joining us.
We got AA Ron on there.
Oh, you know AA Ron?
I know AA Ron.
AA Ron. So I'm sure you know a lot of the boys. I know I saw Brian Johnson on here in a little bit, and I know Casey's bringing up some of the Gulf Shore people. Everybody in the Gulf Shores is definitely in our thoughts and prayers. They had a long night last night with Hurricane Sally coming ashore. So I've been in touch with a couple of my friends there. Chasin Tail Fisheries at gmail.com. That's it, Paul. Yeah, it was a tough night for those guys down there. Watching a lot of videos, and I've been up since about 4, so I've been watching all those guys and posting fisheries videos. Aaron says to say hello to you.
Very nice.
He said a couple other things too, but I can't repeat that on the air. Andrew Ford, good to see you, Andrew. And Casey, you left a week before it hit. Good. Luckily, it wasn't a full major hurricane, but still it got up to Category 2, and it was definitely a full night for those guys.
Absolutely. I hope they're all doing okay. I lived down there for a very long time and have a lot of friends down there. So just want everyone to be safe.
That is the biggest thing, making sure everybody is safe.
No.
Insurance replaces all material things, but it does not replace human life. or limbs or fingers or toes or any of that other stuff.
Everyone's family to be safe during all this stuff. It's horrible. It's been a bad year for hurricanes.
Right now there's 5 storms out there in the Atlantic Basin.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's you know what? It's been a crazy year. I actually told a friend yesterday that I am going to subtract 1 year from my age, and I'm going to not count 2020 against my age. So -1.
Nice.
I'm 1 year younger. I'm 1 year younger. I'm going back. I wonder if I should just subtract it or if I should just change the date on my driver's license.
I think we should all just change the dates on everything.
Yeah. 2020 didn't happen.
Exactly.
It's one of those kind of years. But you know what? I can't complain. As crazy as it's been and all ups and downs, I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of new friends, a lot of new adventures, things that I would have never normally done because I would have been traveling everywhere. So because it forced me to shut down, I mean, this podcast is one of them. I would have never sat down long enough to do something like this. But because we were shut down, I wanted to talk to my friends. So I started going live on Facebook. And then I figured, you know what? There's a lot of cool fishermen out there that we could share stories. Let's start bringing them in and talking about it. So that's what we've been doing.
I love it. It's a great thing for the industry. It really is.
It's, let's all share our information. Let's go back and forth and tell different stories from different parts of the globe.
100%. It's fantastic. Everyone can just work together in this industry. We'd get a lot more accomplished.
Amen, my brother. Amen. So that being said, is there anything you think we may have missed or anything that you wish to add?
I think we covered a lot.
We did.
Fish with us
what's that?
Hopefully you'll be up to fish with us next week.
I was ready to buy my ticket last night, but then this morning somebody says, "Hey, I'm looking at Windy is showing a hurricane up there," and I'm like, "What? I don't see a storm." So I'll probably wait a day or two, but I'll probably buy my ticket probably towards the end of the week, and I'll fly in on Monday.
Yep.
Wait a second. Hold on. Time out. We got to stop the presses.
Oh, boy.
Stop the presses. Somebody has requested, and I'm going to quote, Kyle Johnson says, "Hey, Fly, get Anthony to show off some of his sick apparel."
His what apparel?
His sick apparel. Your apparel.
Oh,
do you have apparel?
Yeah.
Are you wearing it?
I got a shirt on. Yeah,
stand up, turn around, show everybody. No, don't show your back. Don't show your backside. Just show the back of the shirt.
I don't know. That's our logo right there.
Chasin Tail Fisheries.
We had a Gulf Coast boy, Marty Wilson, down on the Gulf Coast in Mississippi in Gulfport, who's a good friend of mine, who came to fish with me, and he's the artist behind all the artwork.
Beautiful.
As well as the wrap on the boat. So
then somehow Kyle Johnson knows about your pretty cool artwork there then.
And we've got buffs. It can all be ordered on the website. It's all there.
Man, you got a whole shopping cart and everything?
I do have a shopping cart.
Damn, you're a high-tech charter captain. I love it.
Everyone wanted shirts, so I was like, screw it, just make a bunch of them and, we'll sell them too.
What size shirt are you?
XL.
Okay. All right. Sweatshirt, same size?
I haven't found any.
I didn't ask you if you have it. I asked you what size you wear.
XL.
Okay.
No.
It just so happens I might have a Fly Zone Fishing sweatshirt.
Sounds fancy.
And I don't know about fancy. You don't know me that well. I ain't that fancy. Actually, sometimes I can be, sometimes I can't.
Right.
But I think I have a sweatshirt and a I don't know what you guys call them. I call them a snow cap. My Canadian friends call them toques. You know, just a wool knit hat.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's not a day that goes by, even in the summertime, that I'm not wearing a hoodie up here. It's the one thing that drives me nuts up here.
So my sweatshirt is a hoodie.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah,
Perfect.
I wear that thing all the time.
Perfect.
Yeah,
we can definitely do there. Hold on a second. Spanky, flooded, many boats destroyed in Orange Beach. Spanky, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Spanky. Spanky from Galati Yachts.
Yeah, that's Spanky from Galati Yachts.
Yeah, tell Spanky hello.
You just did.
Yeah.
You just did.
I miss his barbecue.
What's that?
I miss his barbecue. I miss his
Spanky,
barbecue.
send Anthony some barbecue after you get everything all situated. It looks like I'm going to have to make a couple of phone calls to Orange Beach and make sure everybody's okay.
Yes.
That's a big deal. So on that note, we're going to start wrapping up. You don't hang up. You sit there. He's putting barbecue on the screen for you, brother.
Oh boy.
He's got it looks like a turkey leg with the BBQ on it.
Oh, very nice.
All righty, to all you cool cats and kittens, we're going to wrap this one up. Not sure if we're going to have a second one this week. We might do another one. I got a couple of phone calls out. But if you got a cool story to tell, all you got to do is reach out. Also, you know where you can watch it here on Facebook. You can watch it on the video side on YouTube. And then the audio should be up in a couple of days up on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and even Alexa. You want to do something cool? You go to somebody's house and I just go, Alexa, play Fly Navarro, no BS. And it's on. You get to hear my voice in stereo. That I think is cool. That's how I mess with all my friends. All these podcasts end up on Alexa.
I love it.
Yeah, so you can never have too much fly. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Anthony from Chasin Fisheries, thank you for joining us. I hope you don't have any warrants out for your arrest, because if you did, they're coming after you. They're going to know where to find you now.
That's fine.
And anyway, guys, if you have any other questions, feel free to keep putting up the comments. We'll add it, and I'll send Anthony to go answer it if you have any questions for Anthony. So everybody, peace out. You sit there.